So I'm not gonna lie, a place in KC for a white background goes for $75 an hour, and I'll be if I do that. I'm not gonna lie. So my novel, Catalyst, written by me, comes out. I know everybody's been asking about a date, and I've been trying to decide the right time that I wanted to release it, and I think that is the right time. I think that is the right day. But before we do that, I wanted to get some reviews, and today we got those for you. So the first one I have is a video from Elena. That is a friend of mine who jumped to the opportunity to do something like this. I'm so happy I had somebody in my corner that wanted to give a review, somebody that was eager to read. And she was ready, honestly, I think, to send this video a lot earlier than what I gave everybody. So
hello, I had the opportunity to beta read the first 4 chapters of Catalyst, and I remember one of my very first thoughts being that this story already has such a strong emotional core. From the very first chapter, you are pulled into the weight of grief in such an intimate way, I think. The writing is poetic, it's reflective, and it's raw, and I think that really sets the tone for how the rest of the novel is going to unravel. What stood out to me the most was how internal the main character is. You are constantly in his head, in his thoughts, and his silence, and that silence kind of plays out to be like a whole different language throughout these chapters. The pacing is slow, but not in a boring way, more of a you really need to sit with this kind of way. And you can tell the author isn't rushing healing or grief or realization for that matter. Everything kind of unfolds with emotional intention. If I had to offer any kind of constructive feedback, I would say people who like fast-paced, plot-heavy narratives might need to adjust their expectations just a little bit, because this is a deeply intentional story. But if you're somebody who connects with emotional writing, introspection, character-driven kind of stories, this one will really deliver. I'm really glad I had the opportunity to read this early. I think that this is extremely heavy in the best way. Of course, it's honest, it's thoughtful, it's reflective. Cyrus, your mind has always been this beautiful and intricate place, but to see it transformed into this story that has characters and tension and plot, I just think that that's incredible, and I'm really excited to read the rest of this novel.
thank you, Elena. I really appreciate it. It's been a long way coming. I'm not gonna lie. This has been my dream my whole life. I think she's right. I definitely think this story is extremely intentional in everything that it tells. I wanted this character to be deeply connected with their thoughts, and I wanted the reader to be deeply connected with the character's thoughts. You're almost in that person's body. You're thinking with their mind. You see why they choose to do what they do, and you're by the end of the story, you are connected and you understand everything about that character. The next review is a good friend of mine, Jesse Masick. So I'm going to dive into Jesse's reaction.
Hey Cyrus, thank you so much for letting me be a beta reader for your new book. It was so exciting and intriguing to read. I was on the edge of my seat for most of it, and it was just so fun to see your writing, and I'm so excited for you. Let me think. The parts that I was really intrigued about were the moment right after he that part I was very intrigued about, and I was like, what's going on? But then he woke up, and it was just kind of an interesting thing, and I'm kind of excited to see where it's going. One thing that I was a little confused about were the names. They kind of went back and forth. At first, the main character's name was Alex, and then it went to children, I think, and the dad's name changed and the mom's name changed. I don't know if that's part of the plot or if that was on purpose, but I'm kind of interested. I noticed that I think almost everyone's names changed, so I think it's on purpose, but I was just letting you know just in case. But yeah, it was a very good book, and I'm so excited to read the rest of it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jesse. I really did want to tell a story where somebody is going throughout their mind the entire time. So there is parts in this story where the main character, when they fall asleep, they are in a dream. And I try to make that pretty clear for the most part. And the part that you're talking about that you were interested in actually is a part where they end up getting hurt, passing out, and they do fall into a dream or a nightmare nonetheless. For the name part, so I actually have just sent the novel into a editor. And throughout the story, the names may be a little bit different. The names had switched around a lot as I rewrote the story several times. But once the novel gets sent into the editor and I have talks with them, the names will be set. But yeah, those are definitely typos. The names do not switch throughout the story. And I'm sorry that that's part of it. The next person that I had review the novel was Sam Adams. That's a friend of mine from a college that I went to in Moberly. He was kind enough to give me feedback, and I'm going to dive into his review now.
First off, congratulations, Cyrus. I want to give you a huge thank you for letting me be one of the test dummies to read your book. And I want to say, first off, it was a great read. And one thing about me is I absolutely hate reading books or anything of that sort, but there was never a time where I felt bored or wanted to do something else, or I wasn't fully immersed in the experience that he was portraying. The one huge thing that stuck out to me was he was very good at painting pictures for the readers. No matter what part of the book I was reading, I actually could see myself in the situation that the characters were in. So that was the biggest thing that stuck out to me. But I just want to say congratulations, Cyrus. You're doing a great thing. I see God working in you in many ways.
Thank you, Sam. I really appreciate it. God is doing phenomenal things for me, as he is doing for everybody around me. The Lord has changed my life, and through the Lord, I am pursuing my dreams. Something that Sam said was that I painted pictures well, and that's something that I've always tried to instill in my writing. Ever since I was a kid, I would journal about what the outside looked like. I would journal about being on the inside. My great-grandmother's house when I was younger used to have all this stuff in it, and I used to just write about it. I used to try to go into detail about the things that I saw. And I think that's something that just eventually came out in my writing. And it's something that I really try to do well. I really appreciate you saying that you were fully immersed throughout the entire thing. I really do try to pull in the reader. I want the reader to be immersed the entire time. And that's something that I had to work on, and that's the reason that I did rewrite this story several times, is I find myself, when I reread, that if there's a part that I'm not immersed in, then it's a part that I'm cutting out. I enjoy building up a story. I enjoy getting a reader to warm up to somebody in a story, but you can do that in an interesting way. It does not have to be in a boring way. So thank you, Sam, for reviewing the novel. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. And happy graduation. The last review I'm going to do today is one of my closest friends in the world, Matt Masick. Matt, congrats on graduating. I'm sorry I couldn't make your graduation, but I will see you soon, hopefully.
What is good, my boy? Thank you for letting me be a beta reader of Catalyst. I enjoy the title, and I have really enjoyed it thus far. I think the exposition has been good into leading up into this moment. I think there should be. I'm not sure if there should be more hints as to like the dad's problems, but I think when you introduced it via was really good and a kind of a good tie-in into that, and as it leads through the story, I think it probably was intentional. I'm not sure, but the timeline, like story timeline with Millie seems to have just dropped off the deep end after the first like 2 chapters or so. And so I imagine probably sometime else in the book it'll pop back up, but maybe sprinkling in like here and there, like, hey, this person is still in the foreground, like in the background of things, will be good. I think something that kind of threw me off a little bit were the names. I noticed that they changed a little bit in regards to like the dad and then the main character. And so I don't know if that's part of it, like as catalyst, like there's a different, like this is a narrator narrating in 2 different timelines or something. But overall, I've really enjoyed the experience of getting to read it, and I've enjoyed knowing more about you, just knowing how you've tied in aspects, I think, of your family. I think you've tied it in very well. And so 2 big thumbs up from Matthew. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, so once again, hold on, let me put my phone on my pocket. Oh yeah, once again, the names was something that I messed up on, and that'll be something that will get fixed in post work. Obviously, I don't know if post work is the word that you use for it or not, but you know that's what I'm using. So, but the love interest in this story does show up in the first few chapters and then kind of drops off for a little bit. That is done intentionally, and they do eventually come back. So that is the first 4 reviews that I have gotten. I can't thank everybody who has reviewed, or not even just reviewed, but read the story throughout the time of me making it, throughout the time of me polishing it, throughout the crazy times of me just losing my mind trying to write a story that I wanted to tell people. I will be back in just a second for you. And we're back. I got one more review from a longtime friend, Christian Finley. Here we go.
All right, bro, my first impression of Catalyst. It was a great read, at least the first 4 chapters. It was very well articulated and put together. It felt like I was reading something from a professional author who's been writing for 20 years. Excuse my language. It had really good foreshadowing and detail, and really good imagery to allow you to submerge yourself in what's happening. It made me feel like I was there, especially the first chapter when they were on the slopes and when they were at the house singing happy birthday. Like, everything is so detailed, there's no way you can't feel like you're there. The only thing that I really have like feedback about, I guess, not anything bad, but the hook in the first chapter, I feel like you should start like with the dad stomping the car into the ground to get Rita's attention, like what's wrong with him. But other than that, bro, I think it was really good, and I think you got a lot of potential, and I can't wait to read the rest, bro. I'm proud of you.
Christian, thank you for your review. I will take that feedback. I'm open to any kind of feedback that anybody's got for me. I really appreciate you saying that you can see the detail, you can see what I'm saying in my words, you can visualize it. That's something that I really do try hard to do. I appreciate you for saying that you were immersed in the story. I appreciate your feedback, and I'm going to take all of that into consideration. One more thank you to every single person that has read this and has given feedback. I can't imagine how much better this story is going to be because of your guys' feedback. I'm not sure how many times I have said it in this video, but the novel Catalyst, written by me, will be out. I want to thank everybody who has interacted with every post, interacted with every story that I've posted. Anybody that's interacted at all with this. I couldn't imagine when I started writing this story 5 years ago how much love I would get for putting it out there. And I cannot wait to see how much everybody loves it when it is out there on July.